Okay, settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. One second, just one more thing. Just kind of settle yourself into the meditation, into the session this evening. You know, and it was always good to hear these stories about Lena, the horse, because you know she probably woke up this morning that morning, didn't had something to eat, didn't think that, probably didn't imagine that she would end up dead in the evening. And that happens to hear stories of many people. There was this one, in San Francisco when I was there in the early 2000s. There's many of these corner stores, and they just sell kind of milk and papers and sodas and beer and cigarettes and ice cream and just kind of a few of the essentials. But this man had a little bit more of an extensive store. It had, more fruit than usual, and he had a fairly big corner store. And he used to go down to the markets in the morning, and he was just crossing the road, and maybe he was busy. I don't know what he was doing, but he got knocked over, and that was it. Didn't come home. So you never know when you step out your door, or when you even wake up, or even if you're going to wake up, that's exactly if that's going to happen. So anyway, keep that in mind. This is why it's always good to do this practice at night. So just settle into the posture, line your spine, and just relax all your body. Bring your attention to your breath. And be aware of all the sounds as we just kind of gradually go in. And check in with your mind. What's going on in there today, and then just be aware of our loved ones we don't like, and our strangers. Keeping in mind that they can all change place at any time. So we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life. We think of Lou and imagine Lou's kidney getting all better, or new one there, or and Lou continuing on his life, healthy, happy, because Lou's so much benefit to others. So when you have a long life and you can be of benefit, that's when you really want to live. That should be the kind of the golden standard for organ donation. It's like, is this person living a beneficial life? And the ethics of trying to figure out who gets what when is interesting. I was listening to a podcast on that today. Anyway, let's get back to where we were. And then Lena, think of Lena, who died fairly unexpectedly, with a condition that no one could really manage. So I think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And, all these negativities in our mind are psychological. So we can change it to be more positive. So we think, we think of this Vajrasattva practice in the context of the four opponent powers. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you've done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. And we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? And then here we come to this power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us. We purify ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. So this is where we come to this power of reliance. And he's kind of, you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. So you imagine this kind of beautiful white Buddha who's delighted to see you with his arms crossed, with the left closest to the heart, and he's crossed in this position with the bell representing wisdom, the dojo representing compassion, the vajra, and then being crossed like that represents enlightenment. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And so in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification, and we start with the body. And then Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hom ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita me boa, Sutukaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anorakta me boa, Sabosidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama me Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you imagine all the gossip, harsh speech, useless speech, lying, talking about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sabosidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama me Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sabosidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita meboa, Sutokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sabosidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita meboa, Sutokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sabasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita meboa, Sutokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sabasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita meboa, Sutokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sabasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita meboa, Sutokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sabasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So imagine you're so happy, your speech is now completely purified, and just imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others with your speech, including yourself. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So, as when you walk into a room and flick on a switch and the light instantly comes. The same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart, it's your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachments and neediness, bitterness, grudges, anger, anxiety, depression, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And now think that there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness, and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next, there's the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So we imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. So you can think that all the nectar is being pushed down. The nectar pushes down all the negativities of the body, and then the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativities of the speech. And then the light comes and totally blasts all the delusions, and thus eradicating everything from your consciousness. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And then we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So in order to do that, we really just need to decide that this is what we want to do. We want to refrain from harming others and ourselves. So rejoice in your efforts for coming along to this practice, and then think of something you'd probably like to work on. You might even forget what it is by tomorrow morning, but just think of something now. You're going to make a vow to yourself. I'm going to think about this over the next 24 hours. And then Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through the crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Lama Zopa Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So, at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of, all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do our chanting the names of Manjushri. Then Vajradhara, ever glorious, most pleased and satisfied with folded palms, prostrated to the Buddha, noble guard, the Blessed One, the Lord Tathagata. And with a host of other Vajrapanis of varied forms, the Lord of Guyakas, sublime protectors, noble wrathful kings, he then exclaimed this effervescent praise. Protector, we rejoice. How excellent, how excellent what you have clearly taught. Through you, our lofty aim has been achieved, which leads to true and full awakening.